All right, welcome and thank you for tuning in to episode 78 on the Healthy Runner podcast. And we are live within the Healthy Runner Facebook group talking about running mindset with the one, the only, our queen bee in our Healthy Runner coaching team, Coach LaToya. What is going on, Coach? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Happy Monday, guys. That was quite the intro. I think I could get used to that. Queen Bee. That's nice.
I
It's
love
nice.
it.
So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we are super excited. I am super excited, honestly, to have this conversation with you because I know we've had a plenty of conversations, whether it was personally, whether it was during our kind of group runs for our Team Healthy Runner program, whether it was as part of that Team Healthy Runner. Sometimes we do some in-depth live trainings for just those in our program. So I know we've talked about many of these topics today. But Coach LaToya is going to be talking about finishing your training plan strong and how to avoid mental fatigue and race day tips and mantras. So she is going to answer some common questions like these. What is running mindset? How do I improve my running mindset on race day and beyond? How do we avoid mental fatigue as runners? And how do we finish our training plan strong? And then what is a mantra? If you've heard about mantras, we're not exactly sure what they are. We're going to really do that today. I didn't know what they were, honestly, until a couple of months ago. So I feel like I was a little late to the train myself. And I'm sure there are many of you listening to this right now on your run, and you're like, what the heck is a mantra? Is it like, I don't know, it sounds like something at an aquarium or something, where those are like manta rays? Are those like stingrays?
Little different, Dwayne. Little different. Yeah. You can go to the aquarium and see the manta rays and manatees after you finish your race. That's important. Yes, yes. That's after the mantras are through.
All right, guys. So, for context, we are going to focus on all running in general and maybe focus a little bit more on the half marathon distance, since our guest, Paul DeVillio from the Dev Runner YouTube channel, really talked kind of in depth, kind of mindset tips for the marathon itself. And how much of the marathon is mental. He talked about how do you mentally prepare for a marathon? How do you push yourself to your limits in a marathon? And we all know that the marathon is definitely different beast and animal into of itself. So we're going to really kind of focus more on the half marathon here. But if you are training for a marathon and you haven't listened to that episode with Paul, check it out on the podcast, episode 76. And if you're here on the Facebook live stream and you haven't seen this episode yet, I will shoot you the video replay. If you just type in marathon tips into the comment box, I will shoot you the replay and the blog with the podcast, the video version of that episode, so you can catch all of those great tips that Paul shared. So for those of you who are coming on strong here for Coach LaToya in Facebook, can you guys do me a favor and just let me know who's here? Type in live into the comment box because we see some numbers here, but I don't know who is here. So type in live into the comment box. And if you're catching the replay, then just type in replay so we know that you caught it. So now this is actually Coach LaToya's second time on the podcast, as she was one of our guests all the way back to episode 30, which sounds like so long ago. It was almost a year ago. This was actually last August that you and I chatted on the podcast, and you talked about how to find time to run without mom guilt. And I actually listened to the replay of this on my way into the office today because I wanted to actually remind myself of what we did chat about, so we didn't kind of cover the same thing today. And I there was a lot of value that you really dropped in there that honestly I didn't even pick up when we were actually chatting that day. There were so many like golden nuggets that you shared. And it was awesome that Logan came in unexpectedly, and you just like shared how you juggle, being a mom and doing what you do. So for those mom runners out there, if you haven't checked that episode out, Coach LaToya shared a lot of great tips. If you are ever feeling guilty to like go for your run and be able to get your workouts in and juggling the family life, especially now, like school's out, right? Kids are home. So how are you going to be able to get your runs in? Check out episode 30. Again, if you're here on the Facebook Live, if you just type in mom guilt into the comment box, I will shoot you the replay of that episode and the video interview. So Coach LaToya, let's get started with a little dynamic warm up.
Yes.
So for those that are new to our Healthy Runner family, whether they're listening on the podcast during their run or they're here in our Facebook community, Healthy Runner, the only Facebook group with the name Healthy Runner in Facebook. Tell us, who are you? What do you do?
All right. So I am a jack of all trades and a master of none. Like everybody, we're all trying to juggle and do things. So I'm a mom. I live in Wallingford, Connecticut. I have a 25-year-old. I have a 10-year-old son. I have an 18-month-old granddaughter. I have a day job in sales. I am a personal trainer. I am a RRCA certified run coach. I coach cheerleading. I run the committee chair for the Boy Scouts. I'm a busy woman, and I think a strong mindset is important. So if I wasn't focused, I'd be out there. So I'd like to think most days I got this whole mindset, mantras, staying strong thing down. So I'm happy to be part of the community, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of Healthy Runner, because every time I log into the Facebook group, I personally learn something new, because you should never stop learning. And I've actually had some value added to my life from some of the things that our family members, our teammates, our community has put onto the Facebook. So continue to put your thoughts out, be candid, put your questions, because somebody's been there, done that, and we can all glean a little bit from sharing on that Facebook group. So that is me.
Absolutely, right? Lifelong learning. Like, I learned something each and every day myself. And that's why I just love how our community has grown so much, honestly, since you've been on the show last August, on how much it's grown. And now, I don't even know if you mentioned this, but you are one of our Healthy Runner coaches who create content, provide value within our community. So if you're listening to this on the podcast and you haven't checked out our Healthy Runner Facebook group yet, check it out, because each and every week, Coach LaToya is going to drop a post for you, add some content, add some knowledge, just like Coach Whitney, Coach Lou, Coach Kat. So they're adding all this value within the group, in addition to like whatever I kind of add in, whether it's a running injury, PDF, or how to get over shin splints, runner's knee, right? So our coaching team is adding in all the training tips that's going to really help you. And, right now with summer, there's been a lot of value posts on how do we run in the heat? What is humidity? What should you take with you, right? How do you stay hydrated? And a lot of things to keep you motivated. And it's just what I love about this community, and the things that you contribute to our community, is it's so positive, right? And there's so many, I think, people that complain of the negatives of social media. And I think it's all a matter of like what you follow. And if you guys understand the algorithm, just stop following people that don't make you feel good or post stuff that is like ridiculous, right? In the Healthy Runner community, we are positive folks who are just trying to share knowledge, things that we've learned along the way, right? We are always kind of one step in front of someone else who is a little behind us, and we're always one step behind someone else who's in front of us. So I think it's just nice that we all collaborate and share things that we're going through. And I learn everything or every day, honestly, seeing the content in there. So thank you for all of the value that you provide and all the motivation that you provide, because if there is one thing I would say your like secret power is that you have a way of motivating people that's not like in your face motivation. It's more of, you'll kind of make comments and post things that are like, it's like subtle. It's like almost like you're like a ninja. You're like sneak attack kind of motivation person, where it's not like so like loud in your face, like, come on, you can do this. It's more of, inspirational. And the way that you say things, it's like, like it always makes you stop and think like, oh, wow. Yeah, she's right. And I never thought about it like that. And, oh, yes, I was thinking about it in this way, in this context. But if I flip that, and think of it another way. I think you're like the master at that, honestly. And that's why I wanted to really bring you on today to talk about this like mindset and running mindset, because I think this is such a roadblock in so many runners and kind of getting to that next level. And sometimes our minds like are the limiting factor, right? And they just prevent us from kind of moving forward. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, thank you for your kind words. Wow, that was really nice to hear. What I think I like to do, and I hope others do, is I can see your light shining out of you. I can see your possibilities that you can't see. You're in the forest, you don't even see the trees. And when you bring it to somebody, they're like, oh, I did do that. And it just changes your thought process, changes your mindset. And we all need that little push sometimes. So sometimes it's got to be in your face, and sometimes it's just got to be a little tweak of the words. And before you know it, you sit up a little taller because you're like, oh, I did do that. And we all like to think better of other people than ourselves most often. So it's nice to have somebody throw you a little tweak of a phrase or a little thing, and you're like, whoa, I did do that. I think we see a lot of people's light before they see it. And that's what I love about coaching, is I can see the potential that you just don't see yet. Just keep at it, keep focused, stick with the plan. Trust yourself, trust the process, trust your coaches, and be vulnerable enough to let somebody guide you. And your light just shines, and then it spreads out through everywhere. I mean, I don't want to get all mushy like that. That's totally not my style, guys. By the way, it's not. But I think it's important, if you spread it like the butterfly flapping its wings, it causes so many other things. Somebody saw your light, they helped you shine it through, whether it was through coaching or whatnot, and it opens back up. So I just think that coaching, running, flipping the mindset can just benefit not just running, but your after running life, because we have both. We got to juggle them both. Yeah.
Man, it improves all aspects of life. So for those of you listening on the podcast, you can't see the grin on my face right now, but see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what she does. And this was just like off the cuff, right? I didn't plan on starting with this. And, she just drops some knowledge and just makes you feel good, right? So this is going to be super helpful. And I just want to give a shout out to Christina, who's here on the live. Thank you so much for joining. Amber, so good to see you. Coach Kat's here. Peter, thank you so much for joining. Coach Whitney's here. Alexis, how are you? Alexis is here. Cheryl's here. Nice. We got a lot of our team Healthy Runner members here showing up. Awesome. Teresa, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Amy's here on the live. Sirocco is here on the live. Eddie says, oh, snap. He's here on the live. Eddie's joining. Beth is here on the live, and Kathleen, another one of our Team Healthy Runner members, is here. Thank you so much for joining, guys. As we are going along today, drop any and all of your questions in the comment box, and we will do our best to get to your questions and answer anything, whether you want clarification or you have specific questions with regard to mindset. And we'll be happy to kind of unpack some of that during today's chat. So just drop that in there. And also, by the way, guys, our team of coaches, our Healthy Runner team of coaches, just decided last week, we have some amazing news for you. And this is going to be the first time that I mentioned on the podcast. So if you stick around long enough, I'm going to drop what that special announcement is. All right. I'm going to tease this one out a little bit because I'm really, really excited about this. And I think this is going to be able to really help many of you out there who may be struggling. So let's get into our main kind of content section here, if you will. What is, in your mind, Coach LaToya, what is running mindset?
So running mindset is your ability to see the goal and know you're going to get there. You're not exactly sure how, but you know you're going to start it, you've committed, and you're going to finish it. Mindset is, I've signed up for this race. I'm going to do it. Not sure quite how, but I will do it. And once you stop making that flip-flop and you make that commitment, because if you don't, you're at war with yourself. just commit to doing it. I will do it. And then move the steps forward to get it. So mindset starts with knowing I'm going to have to let some things go. I'm going to have to pick up some things. I'm going to have to dance for a little while, but I've committed, so it will happen. And once you get that right up here, all the periphery just, it kind of falls away. You know you're going to say no to that Friday night, 10 o'clock happy hour session because you got a long run the next day. You already committed. It's done. There's nothing even to think about. And the mindset, it just ripples into everything. Once you commit, you're in. It starts with a commitment.
All right. So it's really just making that decision, right? And committing that, hey, this is going to be my running goal. And this fall, I'm going to finally run a in-person race, and I'm going to get back in half marathon shape, where I'm going to run my first marathon in 2 years, right? First marathon in 3 years, whatever it has been for you. So it really starts with kind of committing, making the decision that you're going to do something. Probably even, I would even take it one step further, is maybe even registering, right, for a race. And so now it's like, hey, put your money where your mouth is, right? Hey, I'm registered for this race, and now I'm committed. So now, like, I have to get my mindset in the right place in order to actually get to that goal. What are your thoughts?
And note to self, if we register early, we save that additional anxiety about, oh my gosh, I got to pay 10 extra more dollars. Those 10 extra dollars are going to go towards your gels. They're going to go towards your sneakers. They're going to go towards a cute shirt you're going to race in. So register early, put your money where your mouth is, and then you just keep showing up. That this absolutely, it just seals the deal. It makes it real. Yeah, like signing a contract. Really, you did. Or you could just burn the race money. You wouldn't do that, would you? No, you'd get your money's worth. So sign up early, commit, and start the process. Yeah.
So for those that may have some negative thoughts, and they might be struggling with getting consistent in their training, and they might feel kind of that their mindset kind of gets the best of them. How do we improve that? Either we could talk kind of normal training, or we can even talk like race day. How do we improve that mindset, or what are some strategies we can do to kind of turn that mindset around?
So if let's be realistic, you wouldn't just show up to a race and not have trained. You don't show up to a race without training your mind either. The training and the strategies happen way before race day. I mean, the race is the reward for the journey and the work you've put in. So the strategies start way, way in the beginning. And the strategy is simply, it's not simple. It always sounds simple, but to execute it, you have to be consistent. And that's your problem, being consistent. You have to make it hard to be not consistent. If that makes, you have to make it hard to procrastinate, get rid of all of make it difficult to find an excuse. Your clothes are laid out the night before. It's not, exactly where everything is. That's strategy one. You're started. The next strategy is, I'm going to get out the door and meet a friend. That's strategy number two. I have accountability. You have to meet somebody. So finding that consistency, hopefully you can find somebody to dance with. That makes it that much easier. And one, we want to put our money where our mouth is. I'm going to show up because I said I am, because commitment to self reinforces additional commitments to yourself. And you wouldn't want to make a commitment to someone else if you have that opportunity to run with somebody. You wouldn't want to let them down. And that just kind of grows from there, because you're doing a dance. And once you make some commitments to yourself, it's that much easier to make the next commitment. Just like if you just let it slide, it goes the opposite way. So make those little attaboys and those little wins that much easier. Lay the clothes out at night, call a friend, know your route that you're going to run. Just don't open the door and run. Pick up those extra pair of sneakers you're going to need, because the other ones are about to die. That's a good strategy. Lay it all out. What will I need? And then move towards it. That's what I found. I'm going to need extra sneakers. I'm going to need help to get out the door and run 10 miles. Because my life is crazy. So find somebody who has a pocket of time that works with you And then I made that commitment. That's on the calendar. I'm doing it. I wouldn't cancel a doctor's appointment just because I got a little stressed out. I'd go to the doctor's appointment. I'm going to go do that run. So strategy is sometimes involves others, but it first starts with keeping the commitment to yourself. Start little. And then they just kind of snowball. You wouldn't just show up at a race, ready to go, got this, never wore these sneakers, never wore this shirt. You started the strategy ahead of time. And then you saw how, hey, these sneakers are great. This one's not so good, not this shirt. And they just kind of flows, and you show up at race day. Wow, I'm ready. Lots of little attaboys add up, that's for sure.
So what I took away from that is really, if you are struggling to get consistent in your training, to get out the door and go for a run, Coach LaToya is really suggesting that you make a plan, right? And whether it's laying your clothes out, as she suggested, or it's texting a running friend or a friend that's going to, give you that little motivation to get out the door, or thinking about how many miles that you're going to run, and maybe thinking about you accomplishing that, first double digit long run in months, right? And yeah, I'm going to run 10 today, and actually making a plan. And then if you have a plan, then that can help decrease some of that kind of anxiety, right? Because we all get kind of those negative thoughts, right? That come in and like, can I actually run 10 miles? Right. And, or it's kind of hot today. Maybe I won't do it. Right. And then we make like every excuse there is, or, I haven't gotten good sleep the last couple of days. I've been really stressed out at work. Maybe I shouldn't try that 10 miler. Right. We can create every excuse possible to kind of talk ourselves out of it. But from really what I took away from what you said is the overall theme that I really noticed was you make a plan, and you kind of plan those strategies out. And I feel like this happens to me personally. If I do plan, then that does decrease the anxiety level a little bit. And it's almost matter of fact. Like, of course I'm getting up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday, and, having my, long run nutrition 2 hours before I go out, like I would before race day. Of course, I'm going to actually do some foam rolling, because I'm going to get out the door, because I want to beat the heat, because it's summer now. And it's almost like matter of fact. It's not, anything that is going to talk me out of that.
I think that makes it that much easier. I think if we didn't have that anxiety, it would be, we wouldn't run. We wouldn't be so concerned. I think that anxiety is because we're vulnerable. Am I going to succeed? Can I do this? And if we just have that self-belief and keep setting ourselves with those little wins, you got out the door, you can do that. You can run a few steps. I just think that if we didn't have the anxiety, especially on race day, why would you show up and run? You wouldn't, you got to have a little nervous. You got to be, can I do this? And then you can process all those training miles and weeks ahead. I sure can. And you just sit up a little taller. And if we just took stock of all the pros, all the things we did versus all the things we didn't do. We didn't go to that party on a Friday night. We didn't eat out the night before a long run. We made better choices. We got our sleep. We cleaned up our nutrition. The list is just that much longer. And when you come to race day, you've got that anxiety, but in the back of your mind, you've got all those things that you did just that lift you up and push you through. I always say to myself and to others, when I go on a race day, I kind of go inside and I have these butterflies. I've been running 5Ks and half marathons and 10Ks, and I still get that feeling inside, like, oh my gosh, can I do this? And once that stops, I'll just stop running. I don't think that'll ever happen, because we all have that little bit of anxiety, but I stop, I reframe, and I say, girl, you got this. What did you do? 6 o'clock in the morning, you got up and you ran 10 miles 2 weeks before. You're going to run 6 now. You got this. You're going to run a 13.1. Well, what'd you do that? 2 months ago? 2 weeks ago? You're tapered. Of course you have it. I think that anxiety can be good when you've done the preparation, because you can wipe it right off, take that adrenaline and push it out onto the race. But you got to get there. You got to do all those things, because you can't just show up race day. Where's my adrenaline? I don't know if I can do this. It's not going to happen. You have to have all that stuff behind the scene pushing you through to the finish line. Yeah.
Love it. And that anxiety that you talk about is really, it's us living, right? We're challenging ourselves. And if it wasn't worth the challenge, then we wouldn't be anxious. And then why are we doing it? Right. So I think that really applies to anything in life. Like even this episode, LaToya, like this is episode 78. I had a little anxiety before I actually hit the go live button. Like, granted, it's a lot less anxiety than it was when I hit the go live button for episode 1, right? But there's still those little like butterflies, just like you mentioned with how many races. I think my counters at like 53 or something races still get anxious. And like, especially for this first live race that we're going to run in 4 weeks from now here in Connecticut, like I'm sure the butterflies are going to really be off the charts because it's been a while, right, since we've had that live race experience. But right, we're living life, and we're living it to the fullest. And we're doing things that aren't necessarily easy, and they're not necessarily things that everyone does, right? And again, it's almost like you feel a little bit of that, but then the reward at the end is so much greater, right? And that's why we do what we do.
The big picture. I think we forget the big picture. Sometimes we get lost in the weeds. We don't even see everything else moving on the screen. We just see 10 miles at 6 a.m. Oh my gosh, 10 miles at 6 a.m. I can't do this. Or we see, oh my gosh, she's so much farther ahead of me. I can't even run. Why bother? Look, everyone else is ahead of me and I'm in the back of the pack. And I know I always tell everybody, just like a train, we all start the race and we all move in a straight line. I need somebody to be the caboose. You better be the best caboose you have. If you are back there, you run like you are the front of the pack. You are the best caboose. So we all have to be there. And when we take that anxiety and that feeling and put it into the present moment, and we can remember the big picture is not just the chick who's ahead of me and she is running fast and looking strong. I'm just going to throw my hands up. No, you have done this time and time again. You are strong. You are powerful. Kick it up, finish what you started. And before you know it, you're at the end of the race just because you had all that behind you because you practiced. You put the strategy, you put the plan, you put the getting up at 6 a.m. in front of the party at 10 that you got invited to. And who parties at 10? Doesn't everybody go to bed and run at first thing in the morning? I can imagine. I have so many people do you want to hang out? Hang out at 10 o'clock at night? I'm going to bed. I got to run. But I have said no many a time because I know the feeling that I have had of anxiety or nervousness. And I know that feeling of victory that I have had at the end. And that trumps all of it because of say no now so I can say yes later, and I can say yes at the end of that race and finish strong. Strategy, plan, execute. Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. And that reminded me of this past weekend. So for Father's Day weekend, we did a little weekend getaway in Rhode Island, Westerly, Rhode Island. And, my wife and I, we get up early in the 4:35 during the work week. And, I was going for my long run, by Friday night, we're just like zonked, right? And so Saturday, you're going to sleep early anyway. And now my girls are older, right? So I'm going to have a middle schooler and I have a high schooler. So they're just like getting their nights started. And we're like, peace out. We're going to bed. Like we're going to bed at like 9:30, 10, and they're up to like 1 or 2. It's like nuts. But yeah, that was just funny how things are changing, especially as the girls are aging, that's for sure. And we're aging too, right? We're going to bed earlier.
I'm 29 and holding. I don't know about you. I've been 29 with a 25-year-old. Don't do the math. No, but I'm 29 and holding for certain. And I still want to go to bed early. I do not want to hang that late. No.
Yeah. So Melissa, how you doing, Melissa? Thanks for jumping on here in live. She says, yep, same here with the teens. Yeah. And Francisco, thank you so much for joining the live. And Kathy, all the way over from Australia, thank you for joining us. And it is the next day where you are, probably in the morning right now. So thanks for tuning in as always, Kathy. So let's talk about those that are kind of getting to the end of their training cycle. And so right now, if you are running a midsummer race that was maybe delayed from the spring because of COVID, so like we are here in Connecticut, we're running the Cheshire Half in 4 weeks. And how do we prevent the mental fatigue that we can feel as runners toward the end of our training?
So it's easy to get jaded. We fall into the routine, the rut, something happens and it kicks it out of the plan. And it's just easy to go to the left and forget it, or stay on the right course and keep it going. So again, I'm going to go back to, I'm type A. I'm going to stick with the plan. I'm going to stick with the plan. I'm going to stick with my guns. And I'm going to call in recruits when I have them. So important, whether they run or not, call in the recruits. But you stick with it because you're so close. You've already put in, we're in week 9. You've got 3-4 more weeks left. Why would I let all that go? I'm going to keep going. If I can do it then, I can do it now. It's so much self-talk. The words we say to ourselves are so important. I have found that whether I say I'm going to start my run at 8 and I really start at 8:30, it doesn't matter as long as I finish. So keep that commitment. And if you have to wiggle, don't dance, because whatever way is going to get you towards the end. And sometimes we get so jaded, especially, I'm going to talk now because it's summertime and we've got a race in 3.5, 4 weeks. There's graduations, there's birthdays, there's parties galore getting in with the run time. I'm going to dance. I'm going to move my life around. I'm going to make sure it works. And that's when you're tired, you can do what needs to be done. You just have to shift. You just have to pivot. Your eye is still on the goal. You just pivot. You're going to run on Sunday instead of Saturday. You're going to get your strength in on Monday instead of a Tuesday. And you're going to be okay with that as long as you get it done. And I think that's what we need to do. Give ourselves grace to switch things around. It's been 9 weeks. You've done a lot of hard work and you have that much more in you. And if you just pivot and don't stress and make it doable, we can keep going. I know I've had a couple people who were like, I struggled 2 weeks ago. Things were getting rough. And now I do this and it wasn't that bad. I think LaToya at one of our group runs most recently said, when we first started this 5 miles, my legs were tired and I was hurting. We just did 10 on Sunday with humidity through 100%. It felt like we were swimming, running in soup. And she's like, I feel good. I think I can do some more. So just remembering and seeing your progress will help you stay focused. I think you've come so far.
All right. Sorry, guys, about that. I think we lost LaToya for a second.
No, my bad.
You're back. You're back.
Was that the you're talking too much, LaToya session? Oh, no.
I just cut you off. I was like, you know what? She's going on too long. I just cut you off.
I'm good at what I do, guys. Sorry. I talk a lot.
No, you're back. So you were just sharing, I think that you were sharing, the last thing I heard at least was you were sharing LaToya's story during one of our training runs.
Her success. Yeah. She started, weeks, one of the back in the beginning, 5 miles was a lot. And here we are 10 miles on a hot, humid, sticky day, and she's ready to go for more. So keeping that mindset strong, it's 3 weeks left. If you can do this now and it's sticky and you feel good about it, you can push through the next through. You just have to have that self-belief and pivot, move the plan, change the plan. The goal is the same, and just know you've already come so far. Stick with it. You wouldn't want to live with those regrets. I think we've all heard this. Regret weighs pounds, discipline weighs ounces. So just pivot, focus, get your mind, I can do this. I have done this. Call in the troops, and things will get sticky, but before you know it, it'll be race day and you'll be through it.
Nice. So just think about where you've been, right? And think about all the work you put in, and think about that race day is almost here, and it will be over, right? Your training eventually is going to end at some point in this training cycle. So you're almost there to kind of keep pushing on and celebrate those victories, right? Like you mentioned in the past. So you've, completed 5 miles, you completed 8 miles, right? Like, why can't you complete 10 and celebrate those victories and, finish strong and remember your why. I'll also add into that is, remembering what your why is and why you're doing this, right? Why are you running in the first place? Is it just to finish your first half marathon or get a half marathon PR? Or is it because, you went to the doctor and they told you you were a little overweight and your cholesterol was a little high and your blood pressure is starting to increase? And they said, you know what, if you don't get this under control, then we're going to have to put you on some medication, right? So thinking about your why, I've had a lot of clients recently that have, talked about that scenario and just thinking about, hey, they want to be here for their kids, right? They want to see, their kids grow up and want to be able to go to their events and want to be able to see them progressing in life. So those are things that I think really help us out as we get to those tough times of your training. And when the tough, the rough get tough or the tough get rough, however the saying goes, these are the things that we can kind of pull on a little bit. So as last thing I wanted to ask you, Coach LaToya, was really about mantras. And I've heard a little bit more about this recently. Can you just share with us what is a mantra?
Absolutely. I would be lost without my mantras. I use them in my daily life when I'm not running, I use them when I'm running. So mantra is a Sanskrit word, and man is mind, emotions.
Oh no. So unfortunately the connection is not great right now. So my apologies to those of you who are here on the live right now. Brian, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you jumping on here. And let's see. Miss Cheryl says, change the plan, not the goal. Yes, there you go. So making alterations. And you know something about that, Cheryl, indeed. All right, LaToya, looks like we got you back here. So mantras.
Yeah. So mantras, your mind and your emotions, your feelings, and the tra is your connections, the instrument that brings it together. They're words that instill confidence in you. They're words that you can repeat over and over again that make you feel strong, feel powerful. And there's so many of them, and it should mean something to you.
Oh man. Ah, that was like,
wow.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's keep your video off, and perhaps that will help where there'll be less bandwidth. So let's keep your video off, and hopefully we can get your audio, because I know there's a lot of great value that you're gonna provide there. Amber says, "Good old Zoom."
Yeah, gotta love that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna pivot, guys. We're gonna shut the screen off. We're gonna talk. You're gonna hear my voice, see my. That's a picture. If I think you've seen these, that is my struck caffeine with the Hogsback Half Marathon race. That is a lovely, lovely race. And post-race food is phenomenal. If you like to eat, that is a good race. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. So let's do this. Mantras, you kind of shared what it is. How can they be helpful for runners? And then if you can share, what are some of ones you've used in the past or ones that have been helpful for you?
Awesome, I can do that. So mantras are pulled out when things get, when you need to pull in the grit, when things get tough, you go to your power. Whatever is going on. Power. I'm feeling powerful. My Zoom connection, something's not feeling powerful here. That's crazy. Definitely. Well, Pull out your mantras when things get tough. I am strong. I can do this. He or she believed she could, so she did. That's such a simple one. People use that. If you believe you can, you can. Get into the habit loop of all those things you would say to yourself or say to someone else you were looking to lift up and inspire. Mine is, you can birth children. You can do anything. If I can birth children, there's not a lot I can't do. And I'm going to start what I finish, and that's the race. And I achieve what I believe. I believe I can finish. I believe I can run strong. I believe I can run a little faster. You always want to speak your mantras in the present moment. I am that person. So you embody it, and suddenly your chest pulls up, your shoulders roll back, and you've got a stronger cadence, and you push with grit through the finish line, because it's like a power song. It's your power words. They go right into your psyche, and they lift you up and take you where you would, just like a good coach or a cheerleader or someone who said something you cared about, said something to you. It pushes you right through.
Oh, I love that. So those are just things that we would repeat to ourselves essentially, right? When you reach that tough part of the race and your mind is starting to second guess, right? And your mind is starting to say, well, maybe you should slow down at this point, or, and I think we talked about that with Paul, kind of like in race strategies. And I think you shared some great, mantras there. I'm kind of curious, for those who are here on the live, do you guys use mantras? If so, let us know in the comment box. What is your mantra? What's your go-to? If you have used mantras before where you do, say to yourself, I am strong, or, one foot in front of the other, or I can do this. For me, when I first learned about mantras, like, well, what am I passionate about? My passion is really this right here. For those watching the video, if I can get my finger to, there we go, stay active, stay healthy, and just keep running. Right. So that's kind of, I've said it so many times. So that's what I would tell myself during a race. And that just reminds me of you guys and our community and, staying strong. So Kathy says, I can do this. I got this. So that's been a mantra that has helped her out. But I know these have been very beneficial for many folks. So if you're not using a mantra, I would suggest, what motivates you, and think about things that you've heard in the past, things of inspiration. And I like how LaToya talked about kind of making it about you and saying, I can do this. I am strong, right? I've put in the training. And I think those things really help almost block any of those negative thoughts that, it kind of is like a distraction technique, essentially, where it really blocks those negative thoughts from coming into play.
I think we get into a habit loop, and what we constantly talk to ourselves about is what comes up when we need it. And you say the positive things to yourself or someone else. So get your mind into that habit loop of a strong voice. What would you want to hear whispered in your ear, or whisper in somebody else's ear? Those are the things that you want to use to push you through to the end. It works. It does.
Love it. Love it. So guys, I am super excited for this. So I really want to share with you some amazing news. Are you guys ready to hear some amazing news? For those of you who are here live right now, just type in excited into the comment box. Let me know if you're excited for this news. And while I'm waiting for you to do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit more, or actually, I'm going to also share some other really cool news as far as a research project that is being done on running, and that I'm working with a group of my physical therapy students on. And we're really excited to be able to start this research study. And you guys, as you guys being my community, are the first to hear about this. But this is actually a research study that we are conducting that is open to all runners. So if you are a runner listening to this right now and you have been injured before, we want to hear from you. So we are seeking those who run at least 6 miles per week and have been running for at least 6 months to participate in a Quinnipiac University study this is going to be an online survey, and it will just take you under 10 minutes, and it will greatly help the body of evidence in understanding running injuries a little bit better and finding out the best strategies to educate runners, how healthcare providers can educate runners on preventing these injuries. So if you guys would like to participate in the study, just type in survey into the comment box for those of you here on the Facebook Live, and I will shoot you the link to the survey. And that would be greatly appreciated by myself and my students for you guys participating in the study. And if you're listening to the podcast, I will drop the link to the actual survey in the show notes. So you can go to the show notes and click the link. Again, I thank you in advance for participating in the survey. This is something that obviously I am very passionate about, and we are looking forward to learning more about running injuries and running injury perceptions and how we can better educate and create more of kind of a public facing educational platform, similar to what we've done with the Healthy Runner community. So thank you guys very much for being able to, everyone who commented survey. I will definitely send you the survey. So, okay, guys, let's see here. Let's see who's excited. So Kathy's excited. Crystal's excited. Crystal, yeah, what's up? Thanks for joining. Melissa's excited. Coach Kat's excited. Kathleen's excited. Cheryl's excited. Alexis is excited. All right, guys. So the news is, if you are struggling to put all the pieces together and really kind of what I just talked about and stay healthy with your running and your training, and you've been trying to get stronger as a runner by just throwing random exercises at the wall that you've got from previous PTs that you've seen on different various YouTube channels, but you don't have the structure or consistency you need in your training, we have a solution for you. So we will be launching our Team Healthy Runner marathon and half marathon programs so you can crush a fall race. So this is our signature team-based coaching program where we provide you the structure and support from our 5 healthy runner coaches and design a run plan, a strength plan that will get you to toe the line for your fall race without injuries along the way so you can feel good again. And we just decided on this. I posted this last week within our Facebook community. And, we were curious to see how many people would be interested if we did a marathon training plan. And, our half marathon program has been a staple for really over a year now and has helped many runners be able to get to their half marathon goals and or get their PRs and stay healthy. So those that have had reoccurring knee pain with running, hamstring pain, Achilles pain, right? So those are all the elements that I've designed as your running physical therapist, and our team of healthy runner coaches really provide the accountability, the support, and the structure you need to be able to crush your fall race. So we are super excited about this, that we're going to be offering those 2 versions of our program. So if you're interested in that, and this sounds like something you are really serious and you really want to take the next step, and honestly, this is for the runner that is actually serious at, training, right? And you want to actually find out the strategies that have worked for hundreds, if not thousands of runners that we have all worked with as a coaching team throughout our careers. And you want to find out what are those strategies. And you're sick of just trying to get the free plans off of Google and the popular websites, and they don't work for you because you either get injured or you just can't stick with it and you're not motivated to stick with it. These are the things that we accomplish with our runners that are in our program. And we are excited for live fall races. There are a bunch, and we've really kind of formatted our calendar to coincide with getting you to your goal race of an early October race. So specifically the weekend of October 9th, 10th, and then 11th, which is basically the Chicago Marathon Boston is that weekend, and so is Hartford. So for us locally in Connecticut, that's the big one here in the state. So those are kind of the goal races. But if you're a marathon, like I have many of my one-on-one coaching clients running a marathon the week before, the week after, 2 weeks after, we can also customize that plan individually for you. And you can join our team. And if you are interested in our team program for the fall, just comment team in the comment box and we will get you on the wait list, and you'll be the first to know when our program launches in a couple of weeks. So if you are interested in the marathon training program, just so you know, you need to really start a good foundation base now, and you should have. So in order to get into our marathon training program, you do need to be able to run a 10-mile long run, because it is going to be a 12-week program. So you would have already literally started the training right about now. So you should be up to like an 8, maybe a 7 or an 8-mile long run. So you should be able to do 10 to be able to jump into our program. So if you're excited about that and you want to get in, I'm just giving you a little heads up on, we're not doing couch to marathon here. You would have had a foundation, and it's because that's what we believe in, right? Our whole goal is what? Keep you healthy. And if you know anything, our 5th tip of our 5 tips to run strong and healthy in the Spark Blueprint is training smart with proper progression. And that's what we are all about. So we will be able to get you there as long as you have this kind of foundation underneath you and you've been running consistently. We would love to get you there. So Coach LaToya, I know this is literally, we've gone through 3 renditions of this, really 4, but 3 from as it is now, where we do, for those that are local here in Connecticut, we do some group runs together. What are some of the things that you have found most beneficial to our members and those that are here on the live? If you guys, can just type in the comment box, let people know, like, what are the most beneficial things that you have noticed with our Team Healthy Runner program, and or the coaches that are on here. What are some of the things that the runners that we have in the program have said to you, and really some of the problems that we're solving, and what are the outcomes that we're getting, right? Like, what happens at the end? I can think of many, but I would love to hear some of the runners that you've been working with on a more personal one-to-one level, LaToya.
I will absolutely jump in and say, having a plan is great, but having support and guidance along with it is huge. Weekly check-ins, weekly attaboys, questions, someone to ask back and forth. Questions have helped some of the runners that I have blossom. They've actually taken it to the next level because they had, oh, okay, I can do that. I can just move this and switch this, dial it back. And it gives them a sense of confidence when you can't have somebody right there on the track with you, but you can have a conversation beforehand about what you're going to be doing is huge. We've had, if you're lucky enough to have been local and run with our group runs, again, a group run is huge. You don't always have that when you're local, but just checking in. The check-in has been helpful for me as a coach to help you, again, see that light that you don't see and just push to the next level. Watching your run plans, you log everything into your training calendar, and I can jump in and say, hey, attaboy, great job. You hit that pace you were looking for. You got your mileage in, or you've got it dial it back a little. We want to keep you strong. It just really gives you a landing place to go. And it's not just an 8.5 by 11 you printed and put on the fridge. It's a talking landing page, and we are here to help you level up. That's for sure.
Yeah. And that's, I think, one of the great benefits of this program. As I mentioned, I work one-on-one with clients, and I know there are many of you who probably have worked with like a run coach individually. One of the really, I think, big perks that is kind of understated is our community that we have. So we do have a kind of a closed Facebook community of everyone in our program, and we share specific content within that community for those that are in the program, and provide you the motivation and accountability. So sometimes for people, it helps to be able to post after their runs. And, if you're a person who didn't want to post on your personal page, or you don't want to post, within another running motivation group where there's like thousands of people in there and there's just random people posting selfies all day. If you want to kind of be able to share your story in your community, you're going to get the coaches commenting, you're going to get others within our program keeping you motivated and giving you those kudos when you get those runs in, or being real and sharing when you have a bad run. And I could think of I think of Jean in our program. She shared a couple of those, right? She was like real with when she doesn't get a good run in, and then Mama Shark gets a like a 3:30 a.m. run in before work, or 4 a.m. She goes out there like super early, crushing her runs. And I think that community has definitely been something that a lot of runners have enjoyed, right? And having that community support. So I totally agree with that. The other nice thing that I've really noticed and that I really liked was having the ability of, so everyone in our program kind of gets an individual coach that, helps them along the way. And we reach out to you, whether, how frequent you want to be, get feedback, right, on a weekly basis, and, go in depth to your runs, because we can see all the runs on our Final Surge platform. So you get a calendar with all your structured runs in there. But then also having the team of coaches as well, where, we have expertise in different areas, right? So if someone is struggling with an injury, I've kind of been called in to consult and, provide direction, because when you get to that, hey, I got to run 10 this weekend, but my knees starting to act up, my hamstrings starting to act up. Like, what do we do? Do we not have them run? Do we adjust? So that's been super beneficial. And I've enjoyed, honestly, being able to assist in that manner, even if it's someone that I'm not working with on a one-on-one basis, but to really streamline that decision-making process versus like, hey, don't run and go see your doctor and then let us know what, because then that's where that communication loop really, and I think, myself, has always struggled with our kind of healthcare model, in that it's not very user friendly and it's not very directed toward the runner to really keep running right, and meeting our goals, but being safe, and that's really what we do, and we kind of streamline some of those processes. And LaToya, I just think about the runners who ran their first half marathon with us, right, or those that PR'd, a marathon. They've never done, speed work before. And they're like, what is this? I don't even know how to program this. And, we've kind of guided them in their tempo runs or in their intervals and provided them the structure that they needed, where they go out and crush their race. Like, I could think of Rachel, I think of Josie, I think of, so many people in our program that have gotten the direction that they needed, and they were just waiting for it. They just didn't know how to apply the principles, right? And didn't find that information. That's been super cool for me to be able to witness.
I think you put the nail on the head with giving them just that little bit of structure to say, tweak this, do this, attaboy, you got this, and they just take off. I mean, I'm gonna toot Josie's horn here, that she had, I think a 3 or 4 minute PR off of her last half marathon, and her speed work alone has been, it's just kicked up a notch. She's running confidently and strong. We have a couple runners who have some little niggles, we'll call them, little things that bother them, and they come and they turn into the community on the closed group side of things, or they turn to their coaches and they're reassured, no, you can continue running. Let's adjust this. Let's move this through. And someone can say, oh, that's me. We're all in it. Week 10, I'm starting to get a little tired. And we just pick it up a little bit. And the community all has the same goal. The timeline is there. So that really helps carry you along when there's doubt or unsureness. And then the coaches are there. They're dynamic. I think we're like a box of chocolates. We're all different. You don't know what you're going to get. But the end result is a good piece of chocolate. It's a good race. It's a good coach. And we work so well together to help take you from unsure to sure to help you shine your light and see the light that we see that you have. I'm learning, and the coaches are helping us. I think it's a circle. We all are always learning, and the clients are learning, the coaches are learning, the athletes are learning, and we're all just that much better. We put that out into the world, and hey, we could do some things.
So true. And I just think about, sometimes runners, or if you're listening to this right now, you might think like, well, I don't deserve a coach, or I'm not coach worthy, right? I don't run fast enough to be coached. And we have people at all different levels in our program. We have those that run a 14-minute mile. We have those that run a 7-minute mile, right? So everything in between. And we meet you where you're at. So if you're running a 14-minute mile and you're doing run walk, if you're doing run walk method, we will take you to 13.1 in a safe way, right? And if you're struggling with some aches and pains, that is the whole purpose of our Healthy Runner Strength program that you get with this program as well, is to actually strengthen your body so it's more resilient, so you can tolerate the demands of running as you build up in your program. And I think there is that misconception out there that I don't run fast enough to be coached, or, I am a back of the pack runner, right? I think you mentioned that before. And I'm not a runner, so to speak, but trust me, like, you will be able to improve, and not only improve, but crush, things that were beyond your expectations and you didn't think you can do. And that is honestly the power and the joy that it brings us as coaches, is to be able to see that transformation, and to be able to see, you be able to hit goals that you couldn't even think you could hit, at the end of this. So we would love to take more of you along with us this journey, and be able to help you from more of an individual standpoint, and be able to provide you the structure and direction that you need for your fall race, whether it is a marathon or it is a half marathon. So again, comment in the comment box, team, and we will reach out to you, get you on the wait list, and you'll be first to know about this. If you're listening to this on the podcast, and if enrollment has started, in fact, and it has launched, then check out the show notes for the link to be able to learn more about the program. And if it hasn't launched yet, follow along. Make sure you're subscribed to our email list, or follow along the Healthy Runner Facebook group, because we will be making announcements when you can actually sign up for the program. So, Coach LaToya, we are coming down to the end here. We're getting to our final stretch. And our last question is going to be, what information can you share, if you could change one thing about the misconception of running mindset? What would that be?
I think the misconception is that we don't have as much power as we believe we have. If we just don't give your power away to the fear, to the doubt, to the lack, to the unsureness, and take that power and put it into what you can do, where you are, bloom where you're planted. Take that power, don't give it into the feelings of fear, put it where you've got it, and you will be amazed at where you can see yourself. 13.1, 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever it is. Just take whatever it is, and don't focus on giving your power away. Keep that power internal and push it through to the end.
Oh, love that. Love that. Push it through till the end. I love it. So just recapping here, guys, Coach LaToya really shared what is running mindset in this episode. How do you improve your running mindset, either on race day or during when the times get tough? And we talked about kind of how to avoid that mental fatigue as runners, and how do we finish our training plan strong? And then also shared some great tips on mantras. And you gave us some of your favorite mantras as well. So I am super excited that you agreed to come on here on the show again and share your knowledge with our Healthy Runner community. How can runners connect with you in our community?
Well, I am definitely on the Facebook. So who doesn't want another friend? You can certainly friend request me on Facebook. LaToya Felton. I'm on IG. You can look me up on Instagram. I'm there. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you if you had a specific mindset topic, or you had something that just didn't sit right with you and you just wanted to bounce it off somebody. I'd be happy to help you with that. Just send me a DM, Facebook, Instagram. We'll connect, and hopefully you'll consider joining our half marathon or full marathon training program, and I'll get to work and reach out to know a lot more of you there.
Awesome. And for those of you that listen, thank you guys so much. If you've tuned into the Facebook Live, if you guys are here, shoot Coach LaToya some hearts for all the hard work that she does in our community and all the value that she brings to keep us motivated each step along the way. And if you found this helpful, just drop in helpful into the comment box. It is good to be able to see what really resonates with you, right? And to create content that can help you in your running goals. And thank you all for listening on the podcast during your runs. Hopefully this helped provide some tips and strategies during your run that you can take into your next run. And remember, guys, every week we go live within the Healthy Runner Facebook group to do live podcast episodes just like this one. And, despite some of the technical difficulties that we might have sometime, we're resilient, we power through. And just like you need to be resilient with your running, we are a prime demonstration of that here tonight. So remember, every week we go live, but we will not be having a live for the next 2 weeks because I'm going to be on vacation, right? We've been working hard here. We've been going live every single week for over a year now. So we can finally go on vacation. COVID's over, right? Or at least it's starting to be over. All right. We're starting to open up, and, we are all vaccinated in my family. So we're going to be going away, and I won't be going live, but lucky for you, there will be new episodes on the podcast. So check out those new episodes, and then we'll be seeing you in 3 weeks live within the Healthy Runner Facebook group. Always check out the events tabs. You can get any of the lives within the events tab, so you can keep up with what topics we're going to be covering and what people we're going to be interviewing. So Coach LaToya, thank you so much again. Thank you for fighting through some of the technical difficulties that we've had this evening. I appreciate you, and thank you for coming on.
Ditto, back at you. I appreciate you. Thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for having taken the time to listen. I hope you got something out of this. Hope you have a good night.
All right, guys. Thank you so much again. And remember, stay active, stay healthy, and just keep running. Until next time.